Howdy. Well, in AP Human Geography, we've been taking a look at problems the cities faced last week in Detroit. We've taken a look at things like gentrification and commercialization, where cities are trying to address those problems by bringing in new development and bringing stuff like that. Today, we're going to take a concept called New Urbanism. I really like New Urbanism. It's a great concept. I'm going to give you the basics in this, but I would really encourage you to research. New Urbanism is an incredible concept of redeveloping cities, neighborhoods, and stuff like that, but doing it in a smart way, a responsible way. And it's a way of trying to fix a problem, taking a look at a lot of the ramifications of it. So, New Urbanism is a really important concept. This week in geography, today we'll look at new urbanism. Then tomorrow and the next couple of days, we'll take a look at new urbanism and projects in Omaha, like Midtown Crossing and other things, how we're developing things in Omaha, being responsible, okay? And then on Friday, we'll take a look at Thursday and Friday, crossroads, which is a problem in Omaha that needs to be developed, and how we can use some of these concepts to do it that way so we can develop a smart way. So hopefully it'll be a good week. Everything will fit together. Well, let's take a look at new urbanism. Take a look at this picture. Just look at the picture. I see this picture and I kind of think of like a movie about the 1950s where people are sitting on their front porch and talking to everybody, and it's like an old neighborhood. I look at all the neighborhoods around Bennington, all the brand new developments and stuff, and this isn't what I'm seeing. But this is not an old neighborhood. This is a neighborhood using basically new urbanism concepts. It's a more modern neighborhood, but looking at kickback to the old fashioned things. Back in the day, there was a sense of neighborhood. You knew your neighbors. You belonged to a neighborhood, not just to a house where you huddled yourself up into. Now look at this picture. Look at some of the concepts. Look at the front porches. God, there's some beautiful front porches there where you can go out there and sit. And look at the sidewalks. The sidewalks are not just right by the street. As you walk by the sidewalks, people can talk to the people in the on the front porches and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Trees and some space and a little bit of room. The whole sense of this neighborhood is just that, of a neighborhood. Anything else you notice about the picture? Yeah, there's a couple other things you can notice other than the porches, other than the sidewalks being offset from the streets, other than the trees. Look at like the hedges instead of like a lot of times we have fences around our places to keep people out. These are kind of like a border without being really restricted. Celebration, Florida is a concept of a new neighborhood, and that's a neighborhood I think I'd live in if I didn't live in Bennington. All right, new urbanism. It's a type of development where you take a look at things and you want to create walkable neighborhoods, diversity of houses and jobs, but you want a neighborhood where people by walking can know each other and can connect. It really rejects big box stores. Think about like the Walmarts and the Targets. They're just big boxes, you know? There's nothing architecturally appealing about them or beautiful. Look at the parking lot. It's all designed to get people in that store and get out. It's not really it's just not conducive to building anything in a neighborhood. Now, not everybody is also hot and heavy about new urbanism. There are a few people that have some concerns. And some of the big concerns is, you know what? It doesn't answer all the problems, and sometimes it can kind of price it out of the range of a lot of people. So basically, then you're making it a rich people development, almost like a gentrification, and that can be a limit for bringing in different types of people. Because when you get different groups and diversity and age and ethnic groups and everything, you mix that up there, it's what gives a neighborhood, a more eclectic attitude and atmosphere. And new urbanism, some people say there's a little bit of a problem with that, so you have to keep an eye on it. Okay, but I can see the second buck there. The second point there. You walk into like a store, like Walgreens. That's the 51st state. There's one on every block. But you walk in the Walgreens. It's a parking lot and a door. How can we get you from that parking lot as fast as we can into that door to shop? There's no benches outside. There's no green space or nothing like that. It's just utilitarian, in and out. But you see, once upon a time, you had shopping districts and stuff like that, like downtown Bennington. You could walk on the sidewalks there, talk to people, you parked, and it was a whole different feel to it. Today in our rush world, you see people, they just don't have time for that. But new urbanism is creating time, creating neighborhoods, creating a safe, comfortable, more relaxing atmosphere. There are 10 principles of new urbanism, which are really important. Walkability. You know, can you get around? I mean, today, like I just mentioned, so you get in your car, you drive to one spot, you jump out, you do shopping, get in the car, you drive to the next stop. Then you go over to like Hy-Vee or Bakery, and then you jump over to your next stop. Can you walk? Can you walk on neighborhoods? Can you walk around your neighborhoods? Is things close enough? Walkability is kind of neat because it gets people out face to face with their neighbors, but it also, promotes health. Now, if you look at the picture that's right there, you see the people walking up and down. You got the people eating the in the cafes like outside. It's a sense of we belong to the neighborhood. We see each other, and it's an outside thing. Connectivity. Is everything developed in connection with everything else? Does it fit together? Mixed use, I mean, do you have different things? Like if you go to housing development out here, everything is it's just a housing development. There's no business or anything around there. But do you have different shops? Do you have different things around the houses? How does everything connect? And like, do you have like some condominiums, some apartments, some houses? I mean, what type of stuff do you have? Usually, if you have nothing but condominiums, you're going to have one type of people. Usually, not as many kids because there's no yards and stuff to play in. If you have like these developments out here, people have yards, but then they've got their fences around their back decks, and so people are outside in their yard, but they're not connecting with their neighbors. So if they are, then they build the fence higher, so you don't have to see your neighbors. Is it quality architecture? Again, we don't need big boxes that look like just more boxes. Smart transportation. Cities more and more starting to think about smart transportation. About a week ago, you had an article about in Omaha, they want to use rapid transit buses. It's a way of getting people from out west downtown. We don't have a subway or a light rail. We don't have the money to develop it. But that's one way that we could maybe get people to encourage them not to commute and clog up Dodge Street and the interstate like that. Sustainability and quality of life. Is this a place where you want to live? You know? Add all those things together. And kids, you can do it. Think in your minds between a traditional shopping mall, like a Westroads or Crossroads or Oakview, and then think of Village Point. Village Point Mall here in Omaha is an inside-out mall where you can park, but then you can walk around and you can see those places. There's places out front that people can stop and see, or you go to different stores. It's got a nice environment to it. It's got decent architecture and stuff. It's got a shopping. I mean, it's got a movie theater. It's got a sporting goods store. It's got a nightclub for comedians, a funny bone, and all that stuff. So it's got a lot of different stuff in there. And look what's been built around it. And Village Point is doing well, whereas the traditional shopping malls like the Westroads, the Crossroads, and the other ones, Oakview, are having problems. New urbanism, let's fix things, let's develop things, let's do it smart. Let's do it so people want to live there, so it's a sustainable thing. Let's cut down pollution. Let's cut down those other things that hurt the quality of life. All right, I can tell you all these things, but sometimes you just have to look at pictures. Look at these. These are concepts of new urbanism. Streets. Look at the first one up here on the left. You see, it's more like a boulevard. You've got lights and stuff like that. You got trees. You've got areas out in front of the house where you're not just parking right in front of the house. Green spaces, porches, smartly designed things. Here in Omaha, when they've designed a lot of stuff, they've really thought about it. Okay, if you look down below, you can see what I'm talking about there with Village Point Mall. Yeah, it's a mall, but look at the green, the grass. And you don't park in front of every store and walk in. There's a space, look, between the stores and where they're parked, so that you have a sense of community and sidewalk and places you can kind of wander around. And again, a little bit of green, a little bit of space, Look at the old market. The beautiful thing about the old market is you want to walk around. See, there's a picture of the buildings with the overhangs. And in the summertime, the old market's a great place to walk around, check the shops out and stuff like that. In the cobblestones, it's just a neat feel to it. Up on the upper right corner, is Midtown Crossing, which we'll take a look at this week. And Midtown Crossing, there's a big green space. They use jazz on the green there. There's restaurants. There's, condominiums, apartments. There's stores and stuff in there. There's a lot of use right there. So, you've got green space to go outside and do stuff and throw frisbee or like say Jazz on the Green or other stuff, but yet you can live there, you can work next door over at First National or stuff like that. Down on the lower right corner is our pedestrian bridge over the Missouri River. People not from Omaha wonder, why did you do that? Because you know what? It's a sense you go, you walk, you look down the river, and we all spit. You stand right on the line between Iowa and Nebraska, jump across it, and all that stuff. Look at the condominiums around there in the grass, so people can go, can jog, can do stuff. And why would you not want to live there? And you can just walk over to the Quest, or today the CHI Center, and the ballpark, and do other stuff, or the old market. Develop things smart. So just as a quick look, that's new urbanism. If you're going to develop it, give it a sense of community, give it a sense of quality. And that's what we're going to be talking about this week with new urbanism. We're going to look at developments in Omaha and let's see if they use these concepts. And if they do, how and what's kind of the impact of it. So this is just a quick, brief look. I would encourage you to look up new urbanism. There's a lot of websites out there with the concepts. There's a lot of developments using new urbanism. And it's a neat way of doing things. Why just throw a shopping mall the old-fashioned way? And they're closing all across the country, whereas ones like Village Point, for a lot of reasons, are not. They're doing better. Look at the housing developments that have more than a little postage stamp park. What does good development mean? What is quality of life? And people that figure that out are going to be successful because new urbanism, the wave of the future.